Hello, figments of my imagination. Massive changes were recently announced for the Bazaar, and I fear this might be the beginning of the end. But I'm getting ahead of myself. The actual announcement had three parts. Stelle, which we already knew was coming, Steam, which we knew was coming eventually, and the complete revamp of the monetization system.
Again?
Again.
I said before that while I wasn't playing during the initial monetization structure, I was aware it existed and likely would have never played if it was still intact. But that system went away with the launch of Season 1 all the way back in April. That's right, we've had the current system for 4 months, and apparently it needs to be completely uprooted. Frankly, I'm not really surprised. The current system allows people to play the game completely free forever, with extremely minimal grinding. All future expansions are free, and heroes, the main form of DLC, are essentially free, since you can buy them with gems, and gems flow like rain in a hurricane. And the cosmetic store, offering 8 items a week was a horrible idea, and I'm not surprised it failed. It's almost as bad as offering new cosmetics every week that will never return, hoping to capitalize on FOMO. But those are things that could have easily been fixed with number tweaks or other similar changes while still keeping the core game free to play. Instead, the plan is to shutter any gameplay behind a $45 initial paywall and a $20 price tag for each new hero. That means that a new player starting on August 13th will have to shell out $85 for the base game, Mac, and Stelle. More importantly, no one can even try the game without paying the initial $45. Honestly, I can't tell what's worse. The blatant scummy cash grab rug pull of making Stelle cash only with no warning, or the fact that new players will likely never even try a $45 auto battler. Personally, I'm more mad about the second one. More specifically, I'm worried. If new players don't join, then they will eventually pull the plug. Even if everyone playing currently stuck around and purchased every new hero they release, there's no way that's sustainable. I tried pitching a solution on Discord, and to his credit, Reyna did respond. Defensively at first, but he also mentioned a future single-player version of Vanessa to serve as a demo. For the record, my idea was either allowing access to Vanessa for free and unranked with no chest rewards, or allowing the base game to be purchased for $10 and only include Vanessa. Frankly, it seems like a way smarter strategy, as people are very unlikely to spend so much money to just try a game. The saddest part is, the game is probably worth the price they want to charge. Possibly even more. $10 for Vanessa or any hero really in the base game, plus $15 or $20 for each other hero seems fine considering that every hero is essentially an entirely new take on the game. And with that structure, more people could at least try it. But the lack of future new players isn't the only problem with the new change. A huge issue that pretty much everyone is latching onto is the Steam rollout. The devs have confirmed that for some reason, everyone will have to pay the $45 for Steam access, even if you bought the Founders Pack or subscribed for every season, and that can't be described as anything but a horrible cash grab. Well, that's not true. It's also a pretty decent way to block negative Steam reviews, as only the most dedicated players will fork over another $45 for a Steam login. I would count myself among those, but even I'm not that crazy. Maybe if I use my Steam Deck more, but even then I doubt it. I have seen the excuse passed around Discord by some of the mods that Steam only allows 5,000 keys, but that's just not true. Steam allows devs extra keys if they go through support and say they're doing a platform migration, which is what's happening here. But even if that was true, obviously the game could be marked as free, then have the $45 bundle be purchased in-game. The whole situation just reeks of greed and, frankly, stupidity. Torching all your goodwill in the hope that people will shell out enough to keep the game afloat is just a bad business idea, never mind how scummy it all is. Simple changes to the current system could have been enough, but they never even tried, they just burned it all down. But for my own sanity, I'm just going to list a few ways it could have been improved, knowing full well that it's too late and no one that matters will ever hear it. First, heroes. They 100% should never have been purchasable with gems. Obviously, with the way they marketed the Founders Kit, Dooley and Pig needed to be, but Mac should have been cash only. Or if they did allow gems, it should have been way higher based on the amount of development resources that go into a hero. Personally, I think keeping everything the same and charging $20 for each new hero might have been enough, assuming they could release one every 3 months or so, especially with subscription income still existing. But that isn't the only room for improvement. A huge downfall of the current system is the incredibly lackluster store. Selling a single rotating cosmetic every day was obviously an attempt at FOMO, but it wasn't thought out very well. For it to work, people have to want a majority of the cosmetics offered, log in every day, and remember to check the store. But in practice, what was offered is typically garbage like rugs or stashes, and they can be purchased with gems, so if you ever did see one you liked, you could just buy it with gems. Instead, the game needs a fully stocked store with almost every item available to purchase. They could still have a gem price, but it should be significantly higher than it currently is. The weekly FOMO item is also a pretty bad idea. Development resources are spent on unique skins only for them to be up for only a week. With the player marketplace still being a possibility, people could just skip those skins as well, banking on being able to pick up the ones they missed later through trading. Instead, the weekly items could be replaced by seasonal items. They would last the entire month, then rotate for an unknown period. This still capitalizes on FOMO, as you won't be able to buy the skin once it rotates, and you don't know when it will come back. It's a similar system to Fortnite, and it works great there. The obvious upside is that the skins can eventually be offered again. Another issue is chests. With chests existing, many players will never even interact with the store. Why would you when you can get plenty of cosmetics for free? A similar thing happened with Heroes of the Storm. When they added chests in their 2.0 update, they also increased the price of skins. But what ended up happening is people just stopped buying anything. Chests could be earned by playing, so why not just hoard chests and open them when a skin you wanted came out? Their chests also contain gems, which you can use to buy cosmetics, so yet another way to avoid paying for skins. Instead, chests should change. Awarding only cards and random gems combined with moving all other cosmetics to the store could help. If skins only cost money or a massive amount of gems, players will be incentivized to actually buy them. Some skins could even be released as only money. Overall, this whole situation is both familiar and frightening. I may have only recently hopped on the Bazaar train, but I'm completely hooked and I'd hate to see it die. Sadly, with the current direction, I think that's the most likely outcome. And that sucks. And that's it. I have a referral link for the Bazaar in the description, but I don't think it really does anything anymore. Do YouTube stuff if you want, or don't, whatever you're into. And I'll see you all eventually.